Thank God for that. And you know what? I actually thought we played really well. The lineup came out, I was a little bit surprised, but I understood Bruno's logic. I actually thought we played well today. Like I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw quite a lot of, oh, we didn't play great, but we got the result. And again, we still couldn't put up one XG and all these things. But I actually thought we played really well. I never felt like we were going to concede in that game. Kind of like the Newcastle game, where obviously Hwang did the madness. But I actually thought we played really well today. I don't think anyone really put in a bad performance behind the midfield three and the defence. Obviously, speak about the attack in a minute, but obviously Kalajdzic went off injured, which is the big kind of red mark. But I think in that first half it showed what having like an actual, I was going to say proper striker, that's harsh on Raul, but Kalajdzic didn't actually do that much. Like he barely touched the ball. And when he did, he didn't actually always do the first things. He got, by the way, when he got elbowed and it was given as a foul and he was bleeding, why did they give us a free kick and then not let Kalajdzic come on? Like you're just punishing us for being fouled. Anyway, but the thing I liked about having Kalajdzic on the pitch, he wasn't dropping deep. He wasn't going on the wing. As much as I love Raul Jimenez, the amount of time Raul Jimenez, when let's say it's like, a lot of the time in the Premier League, you don't always get the ball as a striker. The amount of times Raul Jimenez gets the ball, he gets bored because he's not getting the ball. So he'll be on the right wing or he'll be picking the ball off Matinho or something. And it doesn't help in any way, shape or form. Having Kalajdzic in the box it was just nice to have a presence there. And every time we got in good areas, it works. I mean, personally, I know it's a good weird finish from Daniel Pennant. Let's be honest, he was definitely trying to pass that to Kalajdzic. But to be fair, in the second half, I don't think we got any worse without having Kalajdzic there. But ultimately, we scored with him on the pitch. And I think having an actual just presence up front helped. Obviously, look, I love Pedro Neto. And I've defended him quite a bit on Twitter. But let's be honest, if Hwang Ki-chan put in that performance, if Adama Traore put in that performance, if Francisco Trincao put in that performance, we'd all be raging. And look, we've only won this game 1-0, I get it. But in terms of, a lot of people have been saying you need to sack Bruno after that Bournemouth game. If he loses this, he's out, whatever. Bruno's the coach, and all he can do is set up a defence and try and make patterns of play that create chances. And the defence was solid. I think everyone would agree on that. Goalie's good, whatever. The midfield worked. For Matheus Nunes, by the way, had his best game I wasn't actually at the Preston game, but in terms of the Premier League, by far his best game. Was obviously instrumental in the creation of the goal. Was at making good runs. It was in the other games. I feel like Nunes' touch has been off, but it feels like he hasn't shown for the ball. It feels like he hasn't really felt like he hasn't really taken a game by the scruff of the neck. And there was a lot of times in that game where Matheus Nunes picked up the ball, and it didn't always work out. Sometimes he gave the ball away. Sometimes he got fouled, whatever. But he was making the right runs and. Like that run for the goal, let's be honest. If Leander Dendoncker makes that run, he's not quick enough to get in behind and make that pass for Bedent. And I was surprised Bruno picked the 4-3-3, to be honest, but it worked. And you can understand why he's done it. And all Bruno can do is set up the side. Yes, we only won 1-0. And people will say, oh, we've only scored 3 goals this season, whatever. But ultimately, Bruno's the coach. We got the ball in good areas. I thought Bedent had a pretty good game. Obviously, Clyde just played well. I thought Guedes was a bit crap when he came on, to be honest. Just kept diving around all over the place. But let's suppose, if Pedro Neto is on a good day, we win that game 3-4-0. And then all of a sudden we're all gassed and we're all saying we're going to push for Europe again. It's just a bit of a shame now we've got Liverpool up next. I say that, but I watched Liverpool earlier in the Merseyside derby and they were crap. They were absolutely awful. And look, I'm not saying we're going to go and beat Liverpool or anything, but I'd back us to at least put in a competent performance, especially if Sasha's fit. I really hope that's not a serious injury. The fact that he played on for the last 5-6 minutes and then came off, to be honest, that makes me think that he'll be fine and it was just a precaution. Obviously, Raul Jimenez got injured before the game as well. By the way, shout out Johnny as well. Johnny had his best game of the season. I've given him a lot of stick, mainly because I really like Nelson Semedo and Aït-Nouri, and Johnny's just kind of he's a bit boring, isn't he, Johnny? But I thought he had his best game of the season by far. I thought Nathan Collins and Kilman were brilliant with the long balls. The amount of long balls they put into Shea Adams, and I don't really think Collins or Kilman really got bullied. Jose Sa had his best game of the season for me in terms of commanding his box. I thought Aït-Nouri was great. That's what we have to play Aït-Nouri. Like, I know he's irritating sometimes. I know he gives the ball away, and I know he does stupid skills and stuff sometimes. But we look better if Aït-Nouri's not having a horror show like he did at Leeds, and he's just competent. We always look better. But yeah, just really positive game. Obviously, it's nice to get the win, but I thought just overall performance, apart from Pedro Neto messing up some pretty easy chances, I thought it was the most coherently coached side. And like against Bournemouth, I was looking at this 4-3-3 and I was just like, I don't really see what the long term. I don't see how this is working. Whereas that game, if Pedro Neto's on it a bit more, we win that 3-0 and everyone goes, okay, you can see what Nunes is doing, you can see what Moutinho's doing, etc. It looked more coherent. And obviously, maybe it's just that the deadline's over now and we kind of know what we're working with. But yeah, it's nice to have that first win out of the way. And I think we will probably go on an okay run now. Not results, but I think we'll look more settled, you know. And look, obviously Liverpool's a tough game, but I'd back us to get something out of that game right now, especially if Thiago's not back. But yeah, good 3 points. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Yeah.